The internet as we knew it died back in 2016, and since then, everything we see online is artificially generated content.
Like this video that I found on Twitter. Let me check the replies to see how people are reacting.
Bot, OnlyFans bot.
Facebook has fallen. What on God's green earth is this image? I need husband. I am love everyone. I am from Japan. The internet. A place where millions of people can connect instantaneously across continents. For years, the internet has been a place where thousands of people can interact, meet new people, but the premise has always been that the people that we interact with on the internet are real. And this theory that we'll be discussing today really kind of contradicts that. Today, we're going to be talking about the dead internet theory, a theory that basically posits that most of the internet traffic that we see today is not from humans, but actually from bots or AI. But now let's get right into the dead internet theory. So, verbatim from the Wikipedia page about dead internet theory, quote, "The dead internet theory is an online conspiracy theory that asserts that the internet now consists mainly of bot activity and automatically generated content manipulated by algorithmic curation to intentionally manipulate the population and minimize organic human activity." Basically, what it's saying in simpler terms is that most of what we're seeing on the internet today, like as it comes to comments, posts, engagements, etc., is not actually from people, but is instead from AI chatbots that are designed to simulate what people would say. And although the Wikipedia page is a good start for like a basic analysis of the theory, I think that it does have its pitfalls in basically stating that this started in 2016, when I think the uptick in AI really is more of a recent phenomenon. But before we get into the craziness of the dead internet theory, I'm Justin Jordan. I make commentary videos about whatever I want to talk about or whatever you want me to talk about. Thank you so much for watching, and if you do want to support the channel, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what your favorite part of the video was. But without further ado, let's get right back into the dead internet theory. So like one of the first things that really introduced me to this theory and kind of brought me more into the fold of like not necessarily believing it 100%, but more so like understanding the theory and seeing what I perceived as like non-human interactions and non-human traffic is Twitter, also known as X. I don't know if it's just me, but ever since Elon bought it, it just seems like every single reply section on that website is going to have a bot. And a lot of the bots are like associated with like OF pages, short for OnlyFans, which is like a site where people charge a monthly fee for access to photos. But back to the topic. Basically, I was just noticing a lot of the comments on tweets would say the same things, or like you'd see the same person reply to like 100 tweets. Like every viral tweet, this person would be under, these people would be under. It's like at a certain point, you're kind of just like, is this human traffic or is this AI generated? But basically, Twitter has kind of just become this mosh pit for AI generated content, AI generated tweets, because the incentive on Twitter is just to get as much views as possible. So like of course it's going to kind of attract that crowd, but I feel like before Elon took over and before Twitter really rebranded to X, it was much more like I don't think I was really harassed by bots as much, or I didn't see them as much at least. But regardless, there has been lots of like discourse over the dead internet theory, lots of discourse over AI generated content, whether this is AI generated content or just poorly created human content. There's been lots of discourse about it. Here's like an example of an AI allegedly like slipping the mask and kind of just revealing its true colors in the reply of a tweet. And basically here's like kind of an engagement farming tweet, which is like very, very popular on Twitter recently. Do you eat or skip brown part of banana? Let's just discuss the fact that that main tweet that this alleged AI is replying to is very suspect in itself. But regardless, let's move on. And then in reply to this very intriguing philosophical question that has plagued the minds of every great thinker for the past decade, FariaCon 2.0 states, "As a digital AI assistant, I don't have a physical body, so I don't eat bananas or any other foods. However, I can provide information on the topic." So obviously that's a very automated, very AI generated response. It's obviously like some sort of bot slipping its mask. And like an interesting thing is like the idea of botting on social media networks is nothing new, but when it comes to like seeing it to the point, to this extent, to this blatant extent where it's like bots are glitching and basically telling you that they're a bot, and there's not moderation on that, especially on X. I feel that's what a lot of people have been noticing. What has really been putting a lot more people onto the dead internet theory is like these instances where it's just like, this is blatant AI. And it's just like, nobody cares. It's kind of just been normalized, especially on like Twitter. It's like we saw the same thing, right? Because that's literally like a bot glitching and like showing its true colors. I feel like X.com has really become like the home of AI and really like not necessarily introduced me to AI generated content, but like this is like the first place I've seen where like AI generated stuff is seen as this marvelous and magical thing. And like it literally can look terrible and like so unrealistic, but like people, for some reason, a lot of the people who posted on X act like it's like AI generated image generates 100 years of art. And it's even gotten to the point where like we're in an election year, and I'm not trying to get political or anything, but like we literally have a presidential candidate using AI generated images against his opponent. Like, what on God's green earth is this image? When they invented AI image generating software, I'm sure they were like, this will help millions generate their own unique and specialized ideas. But instead, we have Donald Trump tweeting out this image, this badly designed image of Kamala Harris as a communist. Like, what is going on? This has 73 million views. And it gets worse, okay? We've got this beautifully AI generated sequence of Elon Musk and Donald Trump dancing together. That video alone has 927,000 likes and 54 million views. This is the society that we're living in, where AI generated images and videos have just gotten to the point where it's like, it's just normalized to use it now. And honestly, I feel like we all have been witness to the AI generated slop that comes from Facebook.com. That website was the outer fortress for like the AI invasion. Now X is like the second fortress. Facebook has fallen. The gates are down, it's crumbled, it's on fire. Facebook has fallen to the AI curse. X.com is being attacked and battered, and I think the walls are starting to fall down. And the rest of the social media sites are just like trying their best to fight off this AI generated mess. Honestly, TikTok might have fallen as well, because the amount of like AI generated content I see on my TikTok page, like top 10 countries where XYZ, top 10 countries where it's like, we get it. Like, I've seen this video 12 times on my For You page. Like, can we move on now? Can we grow and learn? But regardless, Facebook became like the face of AI slop. If X became like the ambassador of AI slop, Facebook was the first endorsement basically of AI slop. Facebook was the place where Facebook honestly has like a much different reputation, like even than like Twitter. Twitter kind of has shifted since like it became X.com and yada yada yada, of course. But like, I mean, like Twitter has always had more of a young audience, more of like a Gen Z, millennial, younger Gen X kind of audience. But Facebook, oh, Facebook has boomers on there, and the boomers are booming. The boomers are enjoying their time there. And of course, for like older people, it's more difficult to distinguish what is real and what is AI for them. So a lot of them were seeing this AI generated content be pushed onto their pages, and we're like interacting with it organically. But there's also that interspersion of like the bot accounts. So there's this whole Twitter account which is dedicated to the AI slop. Their literal name on Twitter is Facebook AI slop. But let's just look at some of the posts that have been made by this gorgeous account. These posts have been compiled by this account, and just let's just take in the beauty and the glory of the AI generated slop from the internet. Close your eyes 80% and see magic. Today's my birthday. Heart. August 2024 is your best year. And you can see what appears to be two police officers with very short legs and just several bags all over the place. And we'll get into this later, like, because a lot of you are probably looking at these images and like thinking that this is actually horrible. Like, isn't AI image generating supposed to get better? But there's a theory that basically explains why it's gotten so much worse, and it's so hilarious, but we'll get into that later. Art appears when you like it. What a lovely family gathering. We see two Lisas I think they tried to make a mini Marge. Homer, all of them are cross-eyed. This is just a delicious and delectable image. You can see that it has 918 likes. Let's not even mention whatever that is. That's some very abstract art over there. Guys, we also have some gorgeous ladies who are very much available. She says, I need husband. I am love everyone. I am from Japan. Oh my goodness. Look at that body. It literally curves to the side in multiple different ways. This one is actually shockingly not horrible. Like, the only thing that makes it not believable is the fact that they're saying they're a World War I veteran and that it's their 97th birthday. And also the hat, and also, if you zoom in just a little bit, you start to see some of the details on the hat are not exactly right. But honestly, this is actually, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. This one is actually a very well generated AI looking image. You will never regret liking this photo. Hashtag boom challenge. I miss you so, Chooch. My sweet family. No, she has to go to war. The thing about all of these, honestly, is that they don't look super horrible until you zoom in and you see the details and you're just like, what on earth is that? Like, honestly, zoomed out in a vacuum, none of these images look too horrible. Well, maybe the one where her body was literally twisted out the frame and she was growing a second pair of legs, but like most of the other ones aren't too bad. And of course, a lot of the senior citizens on Facebook are going to interact with that organically. But I think there's also another layer to this where like there is like those AI generated comments basically made to interact and boost these posts. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to get more views, more clicks, more likes. Even if those are fake, that's going to appeal to advertisers, because there's one thing about social media that's like, I guess people really haven't thought about. Like, there's really no verification system for like your metrics. I guess the verification system is like, oh, this person has 100K followers, but this post is getting like 10 likes. But it's like, at the same time, their account could have just died. So there's no like 100% way to verify that all of these likes and all these engagements are legitimate. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess there is probably a way that like I know YouTube has to validate your watch hours, etc., before you get monetized, but I'm talking like in general, like as consumers of media, there really isn't a way to verify that what we're seeing is true human generated metrics. And I'm sure as we move into the future, they'll do better with that. But as of now, a lot of what we're seeing seems to be AI generated. And I just really have to do one last AI generated image for the road. 99 years of luck. You will never lack money for your trip and travels. Prayer emoji and plane. This has over 12,000 likes. I mean, like I said, there's no 100% way to know that's legitimate, but at the same time, that's kind of impressive and kind of crazy that like you know at least 1,000, like some person had to see that and decided to like that. Now that we've really seen and like digested how bad the AI has honestly gotten, let's watch a video on TikTok that really will just kind of explain the background of like how AI even got this bad in the first place.
Proof the dead internet theory is true on Facebook with photos like this, Turtle Swift. As these photos have gotten more and more ridiculous, we continue to see comments like this.
That's what I was kind of talking about earlier when I was talking about like the engagements that we're seeing on these posts. Like, good luck, amen. Like, no way a real person is seeing Turtle Swift and is like authentically and truly resonating with that and engaging with that in that meaningful of a capacity.
Now we know that these are bots commenting because no one would ever comment amen on a photo like this. Now we know that this AI has been feeding off of its own traffic for a while from posts like this with over 300,000 likes. No one would ever believe that this is real. But the evidence I have now is showing me that the AI image generation is continuing to devolve. Since it's no longer relying on real people for traffic and only relying on bots, we're seeing the AI's ability to generate realistic looking images get worse and worse. And as we continue to see the dead internet theory play out, we're going to see more and more images like this that make less and less sense. Just a couple weeks ago, we had the AI generating incredibly realistic images of Jesus.
Like, that's what I was saying. Like, isn't it kind of shocking that like the AI images seem to be getting worse and not better? Like the slop that we're seeing on Facebook.
It's like right here and right here. But now, as these dead internet bot interactions continue to give it good feedback, we're getting images like this. It looks to me like we're back at the very beginning when the AI couldn't even generate human hands. It also appears to be changing themes, but it's still getting tons of traffic. I mean, look at those numbers.
Dude, what even is it's like it generated like a tube above their freaking heads.
122,000? It can't even tell what the human body's supposed to look like here. The only constant I'm seeing is that it tries to put Jesus in every single photo. But I'm going to keep paying close attention. I'm seeing some interesting things that tells me the machine itself sees it lording over God. Make sure and hit that follow button. We're going to see where this goes and see how this develops.
Some very interesting video that basically just kind of reiterated that like AI slop is creating this endless loop of AI slop that's like giving itself validation. Like it'll be like, oh yeah, this is a great image to send out because it's getting so many engagements, but all the engagements are like fake and from other AI bots. So it's like really this toxic cycle. But one last thing I wanted to talk about that was really like interesting to me when it comes to like this whole dead internet theory universe is this new app called Captions. So basically, Captions is like this whole app where like you can AI will generate edits for you for a video. And like people have been calling it soulless because it kind of just generates what it thinks people like to see for video edits instead of like normal video edits that are done by a person. But they're starting to roll out this new thing called the digital AI twin or something. And like they have these AI characters where you can speak, and they're not the only ones who do that. CapCut, which is basically like TikTok's version of Adobe Premiere, has its own like character. They've had like the AI generated voices where you can type and it'll say whatever you want it to say in like multiple different voices. But now they're starting to roll out this thing where like you can type it and a character will actually say what you're typing. And it's just so interesting to me. Like some people have been like panicking saying like, oh, this might take over like influencers or like brand ambassadors, etc. But I just think it's so fascinating, like this idea that like we could be entering an era where like you could see a person, like lips moving, head moving, them talking, but it's just an AI trying to get you to interact with a post. And that's kind of like the real horror, I feel like, of the dead internet theory. The real horror of the dead internet theory lies in the fact that like we have this trust in the internet to be giving us traffic and to be interacting with people that are real. But at the end of the day, we never really know what or who we're interacting with. It's also kind of terrifying for people like me who, not saying I'm going to 100% pursue a career in social media, but like if I wanted to, the fact that like there's these people and these brands that are kind of, I won't say using social media, but there's these entities that are going around on social media using basically AI bots to generate like interactions, etc. And you're going to be competing against that. Like how can I compete against an AI bot that's like deliberately created to generate the most impressions? Like, how am I, as one person, as a human, who has to experiment with content styles, who has to curate things in different ways, and actually has to be creative in some ways and look at like what works for other people and try to apply that to myself? How am I supposed to compete with this? It may not even be a person, but like as these AI bot farms basically grow bigger into like companies that try to call themselves marketing companies, etc., how am I supposed to compete with like that giant behemoth that's just trying to generate as many interactions as possible? Like that's horrifying. And also it's horrifying just as a person who frequents the internet, like the idea that there could be a day where like you're talking to people on Discord or whatever, but you're not actually talking to people on Discord. You're just talking to this AI bot that's designed to evoke reactions from you. Very scary thought, honestly. Because as someone who's very chronically online, the idea that like, I mean, I guess there is kind of that underlying level when you think about it, like the algorithms that give you content, it's kind of artificially like pushing what it thinks you'll like. But it's like, at least with that, it's like, oh, this content is created by a person. Like it'll connect me to a creator who I actually like to see their content, who I actually like to interact with. But the dead internet theory is kind of just like, it's AI giving me an AI creator who it thinks I'll like, and that AI creator is using AI metrics to appeal to the algorithm. So it's kind of like, it's very trippy in a way to think about the dead internet theory. Let's get into like my full thoughts about the theory as a whole and like the flaws with its methodology as seen on like Wikipedia, more mainstream like adaptations of it, because the dead internet theory isn't just a set kind of theory. There's many different interpretations of it, and it's existed for quite a while, surprisingly. I thought it was something new because ChatGPT craze, AI craze, AI image generation craze, AI art craze is like 2020s type of stuff. But apparently this theory has existed at least in some capacity since about like 2016. Big problem I find with like the theory being feasible is that a lot of the theory was basically created in like 2016. And hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I'm not saying that the theory is not true. I'm saying that I think that the theory is starting to be true, but I don't think that it's necessarily true yet. Because I think that it's not reached the level where like majority, I believe, of the internet traffic is fake. I believe like it'd be reasonable to say like 30% of the traffic is fake. A lot of people who believe dead internet theory are like, oh yeah, most of it's fake. I wouldn't go that far. I would say like 30, 40%. 40% is high for me, but like you could say a minority of like I think a majority of the internet traffic is real. I hope it is. I kind of pray it is, but I feel like in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that majority of the internet traffic that we're seeing is real in some sort of way. It might just be one person on multiple accounts, etc. Like there's still variations and deviations of that, but I don't see it to the point where it's like, oh yeah, AI is taking over and like there's no real people left. I'm not riding that bandwagon yet, okay? I think we still have time before it gets to that point. I think there's still a lot more advancements that need to be made in like the technology powering this AI before that even happens. But so yeah, my overall belief is that the dead internet theory is starting to become true. I wouldn't say that it's true yet, and like it's full fashion that like majority of the internet traffic is fake or bot driven. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble and watching me react to things. If you liked this video, I'm going to say it again. If you like this video, you can support me by hitting that subscribe button, leaving a like, and comment down below what you want to see next. I will be moving into college soonish, so I'm going to still aim to have at least 2 videos out a month, but you know, it's going to be a very different living situation. I'm not going to have my own space. So we'll figure that out as we go, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me. Have a great night. Bye.